Before you fall in love with the house, make sure that you're not overlooking these hidden defects that could cost you big time in the long run. Number one, asbestos. Now, if you're buying a newer home, you probably don't have to worry about asbestos, but if you're buying an older home, then it could be there, especially in the insulation, the floor tiles, or the ceiling material. And you think, oh, well, I'll just remodel the house. Well, asbestos is the most dangerous when it's disturbed. So you would need to have a professional to remove the asbestos. That's one thing to be thinking about. Number two is lead-based paint. Any house built prior to 1978, odds are really good that lead-based paint was used in that home when it was built. If you were born in the 70s like me, we had cribs that had lead-based paint on them, right? We teethed on those things, but exposure to lead-based paint, they have found, is not a good thing. So if you're looking at houses built prior to 1978, you may want to have a lead-based paint test done just to find out if there's any still in the house. Number three is mold and mildew. Now, obviously, if you see them when you're walking through, that's going to be a red flag to you. But a lot of times, the mold and the mildew can be behind walls, it can be under the floor, and it can be in damp areas like the basement. That's why most home inspectors are going to carry around a moisture gauge with them. If they see something on the ceiling that looks like it might have been a leak, they're going to check it with that moisture gauge to see if it's an active leak, if there's active water, or if it's just from a past intrusion. Number four is going to be pest infestations. Now, a lot of times when you go to look at foreclosures or homes that are vacant that have been on the market for a while, you're probably going to find dead insects throughout the house, ladybugs, depending on the time of year. You may find some mice droppings here and there, or you may find a little trail of ants that have found some kind of little crumb to nibble on in the corner. But you do want to look for evidence of those things and have a licensed pest inspector company come out and find out, is this just a targeted incident or is there a longer problem like with the termites? Have they eaten through some of your floor joist or whatever like that? Another thing is to look for hidden water damage. Sometimes leaks in plumbing or roofing aren't really visible, like you may not even notice it. So just check if you have a basement that's got like those little pop-out tiles. Does one of them look wider than the other? Because let me tell you what they're going to do. They're going to replace that one ceiling tile that had moisture come through, and you're going to be able to tell where there might be a telltale sign. So just look up when you're looking at houses, check for anything that might look like a water intrusion. You also want to look at the foundation. Walk all the way around the house on the outside, check the foundation for cracks. Go into the basement. Again, you're looking for cracks. A lot of houses are going to have settlement cracks, but if you see a half inch or more settlement and crack, then you may have cause for alarm. You'll probably want to get a structural engineer out there to check that part out for you. You also want to look at the electrical in a house. Are they still on a fuse box? Have they upgraded to circuit breakers? Do they have some of those breakers? Are they double tapped? Are they labeled properly? Do they have the right amps for whatever it is that you're trying to run? What's the wiring in the basement look like? The last thing I'm going to tell you to check is going to be for sewer or septic issues. Check the toilets when you're walking through a house. Flush them. Do they flush good? Does it take forever for the tank to fill up? You're not going to know if there's an issue with the sewer or the septic without actually having septic inspections done. But do you have a odor in the house? When you go downstairs, is there an odor? Those are things you're just going to have to look for and maybe hire special inspectors for. But it would be better to spend the money on an inspection up front to find out everything's fine rather than to not pay for those inspections and then find out in a year down the road that you're going to have to pay $10,000, $15,000 in repairs for some of these things. So if you're thinking about buying or selling and you want an agent who can help you avoid some of these money pitfalls, make sure you send me a DM and let's talk.